Hello, this is Lord Vathos of Just Super Chillin'. I was scrolling through Steam, just looking at FMV games, because some of them are pretty good, and a chance to put on this game, which is Deathtrap Dungeon, by Ian Livingstone. All those choose your own adventure games, but this one's hosted by Eddie Marsan, which is a famous actor in a few films like Deadpool 2 and other films. I can't come to my head at the moment. Yeah, let's go.
Despite its name, Fang was an ordinary small town in a northern province of Chiang Mai, situated on the banks of a river. It made a convenient stopover for river traders and passengers throughout most of the year. A few barges, rafts, and sometimes even a large sailboat could usually be found moored in Fang. But all that was long ago, before the creation of the Trial of Champions. Now, once a year, the river is crammed with boats as people arrive from hundreds of miles around, hoping to witness the breaking of an ancient tradition and see a victor in the Trial of Champions. On the 1st of May each year, warriors and heroes come to Fang to face the test of their lives. Survival is unlikely, yet many take the risk, for the prize is great. A purse of 10,000 gold pieces and the freedom of Chiang Mai forever. But to become champion is no easy task. Some years ago, a powerful baron of Fang called Sukhumvit decided to bring attention to his town by creating the ultimate contest. With the help of the townspeople, he constructed a labyrinth deep in the hillside behind Fang, from which there was only one exit. The labyrinth was filled with all kinds of deadly tricks and traps and loathsome monsters. Sukhumvit had designed it in meticulous detail, so that anybody hoping to face his challenge would have to use their wits as well as weapon skill. When he was finally satisfied that all was complete, he put his labyrinth to the test. He picked 10 of his finest guards, and fully armed, they marched into the labyrinth. They were never seen again. The tale of the ill-fated guards soon spread throughout the land, and it was then that Sukhumvit announced the first Trial of Champions. Messengers and news sheets carried his challenge, 10,000 gold pieces and freedom of Chiang Mai forever, to any person surviving the perils of the labyrinth of Fang. The first year, 17 brave warriors attempted the walk, as it later became known. Not one reappeared. As the years passed and the Trial of Champions continued, it attracted more and more challengers and spectators. Fang prospered and would prepare itself months in advance for the spectacle it hosted each May. The town would be decorated, tents erected, dining halls built, musicians, dancers, fire eaters, illusionists, and every sort of entertainer hired, and entries registered from hopeful individuals intent on making the walk. The last week of April found the people of Fang and its visitors in wild celebration. Everybody sang, danced, and laughed until the day broke on the 1st of May, when the town thronged to the gates of the labyrinth to watch the first challenger of the year step forward to face the Trial of Champions. Having seen one of Sukhumvit's challenges nailed to a tree, you decide that this year you will attempt the walk. For the last 5 years, you have been attracted to it not for the rewards, but for the simple fact that nobody has ever yet emerged victorious from the labyrinth. You intend to make this the year in which a champion is crowned. Gathering up a few belongings, you set off immediately. 2 days' walk takes you west to the coast, where you enter the cursed port of Black Sand. Wasting no time in that city of thieves, you buy your passage on a small boat sailing north to where the river Coke meets the sea. And from there you raft upriver for 4 days, until finally you arrive in Fang. The trial begins in 3 days' time, and the town is in an almost hysterical mood of excitement. You register your entry with the officials and are given a violet scarf to tie around your arm, informing everyone of your status. For 3 days, you enjoy Fang's greatest hospitality and are treated like a demigod. During the long merriment, you almost forget your purpose in Fang. But the evening before the trial, the magnitude of the task ahead begins to dominate your thoughts. Later, you are taken to a special guest house and are shown your room. There is a splendid 4-poster bed with satin sheets to help you rest. But there is little time left for sleep. Just before dawn, a trumpet call awakens you from vivid dreams of flaming pits and giant black spiders. Minutes later, there is a knock on your door, and a man's voice rings out saying, "Your challenge begins soon. Please be ready to leave in 10 minutes." You climb out of bed, walk over to the window and open the shutters. Already people are thronging the streets, moving quietly through the morning mist. Spectators, no doubt on their way to the labyrinth, hoping to find good vantage points from which to watch the competitors. Walking over to a wooden table on which your trusty sword and shield lie, you pick them up and cut the air with a mighty sweep, wondering which beasts your sword's sharp edge may soon have to meet. You open the door into the corridor, and a small man greets you with a low bow as you emerge from your bedroom. "Please follow me," he says. He turns to his left and walks quickly towards the stairs at the end of the corridor. Walking through a parting in the crowds, you see Baron Suckenbit himself, standing by the entrance waiting to greet the contender in the trial of champions. You count 5 others standing proudly in line, their violet scarves displayed for all to see. There are 2 bare-chested barbarians dressed in furs. They stand completely motionless, legs straight and slightly apart, arms thrust forward to rest on the hilts of their long, double-headed battle axes. A sleek elven woman with golden hair and feline green eyes is adjusting the crossbelt of daggers wrapped around her leather tunic. Of the 2 remaining men, one is covered from head to foot in iron plate armor, with a plumed helmet and a crested shield. The other is cloaked in black robes, only his dark eyes showing between the swarms of his black-faced scars. Long knives, a wire garrote, and other silent death weapons hang from his belt. The 5 contenders acknowledge your arrival with almost imperceptible nods of the head, and you turn to face the exultant crowd for the last time. Suddenly, a hush falls over the crowd as Baron Suckenbit steps forward, holding 6 bamboo sticks. You draw one from his outstretched hand, and you read the word, "Fit." Then the trial begins. The knight is first. He salutes the crowd before disappearing into the tunnel, and is followed half an hour later by the elf. Next goes a barbarian, and then the dark assassin. Next, it's your turn. But before embarking on your adventure, we must first determine your own strengths and weaknesses. You have in your possession a sword, a shield, and a backpack for carrying provisions for the trip. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordplay and exercising vigorously. To see how effective your preparations have been, dice will be rolled to determine your skill, stamina, and luck scores. Or, if you wish to begin your adventure immediately, you can choose between 3 ready-made adventurers.
Obviously, I'm going to roll. It is noted that my voice is apparently really loud, so I'm going to have to talk quieter. Okay, so I'm going to turn down my voice slightly. I don't know why it's so loud. Right. It has been noted in the discussions that the sound effects and the background music is slightly too loud, so you can't actually hear the guy. So if you notice that when he was talking, that's something they're already working on. This game is only early access, and it said it's going to be early access for about 2 months. But then, early access games, who knows, right? And they're doing more with hopefully different actors. Not that I'm tired of this guy, I'm just... different actors, a bit, like, make it more awesome. Imagine Vin Diesel doing one. I'm just gonna get a drink because I've made a very, very, very peppery macaroni cheese and I'm dying. I am back. Strawberry water because I am amazing. There we go. Right. Roll.
First, we'll roll for your initial level of skill. This reflects your sword skill and fighting expertise, and will be determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6.
Yeah, 4's alright. It's like just above average. Or it is average, or something. It's above 3, so it's good. Let's do stamina roll.
Next, we'll roll for your initial stamina,
Which is also your health.
which represents your strength. So the higher your stamina score, the longer you will survive. This will be determined by rolling 2 dice and adding 12.
Oh, come on. 19 total. I think I can get better than that. Oh, I don't know. 1 and a 6. That's terrible. I'm gonna re-roll that. That's bad. And that's even worse. Good. 3rd time's the charm. Come on, give me a 5. Yeah, there we go. 5 and a 4. Continues a luck roll.
Next, we'll roll for your initial luck, which represents how lucky an adventurer you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy world you're about to explore. This is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6.
Oh, 10. Awesome. Luck's kind of useful in these games. Yeah.
You may also take a magical potion with you to aid you on your quest. Each bottle of potion contains 2 measures, so can be used twice during an adventure. You can choose from a potion of skill that restores your skill points to their initial amount, a potion of strength that restores your stamina points to their initial amount, or a potion of fortune that not only restores your luck points to their initial amount, but will also increase your initial luck score by 1 each time it's used.
Now I'm going to get potion of strength because I want to heal myself.
Lastly, before you begin your quest, you are given enough provisions for 10 meals. When you eat a meal, your stamina score will increase by 4 points. But don't forget, your stamina can never exceed the initial amounts you've just set. You have a long way to go, so use your provisions wisely.
Okay.
Now it is your turn to salute the crowd. Holding your violet scarf aloft, you take one final deep breath of cool, fresh air before turning to pass between the stone-pillared gateway into Succumbit's corridors of power to face unknown perils on the walk through the mighty Baron's Deathtrap dungeon.
So cool. I used to play this as a slower. Could never do it. I think the only one I did was Child of Champions, which he was describing. But this is Deathtrap Dungeon.
The clamour of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-metre intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiseled walls disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach. Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel. The air is cold, moist and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it, there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name painted on its lid.
Open the box.
The lid of the box lifts off easily. Inside, you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message, which says, "Well done. At least you had the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my Deathtrap dungeon. Signed, Succumbit." Memorizing the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel, where you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while one decided to go east.
Well, if I know anything from the book Beyond the Deep Woods on the Edge Chronicles, never stray from the path.
Following the 3 sets of wet footprints along the west passage of the tunnel, you soon arrive at a junction. Walking along the tunnel, You are surprised to see a large iron bell hanging down from the ceiling.
Shall I ring the bell in Deathtrap dungeon? Screw it, let's do it.
A dull bong sounds from the bell like a death toll. Everything around you begins to vibrate. You grit your teeth as your head starts to shudder. Your whole body is trembling. You fall to the floor, losing 2 skill points and 2 stamina points. You quiver and shake, writhing convulsively on the floor as the vibrations intensify. You search desperately for a way of stopping the bell. You pull your boot off your foot and force yourself to reach up and hold it against the bell. And slowly, the bell stops vibrating, and the pain in your body gradually eases. You manage to stand up, but you do not release your boot from the bell until it becomes completely still. You put your boot back on and continue your journey west.
God damn it.
The tunnel veers sharply to the right and continues north for as far as you can see. You hear a tremendous commotion in the distance, growling and snarling and howling. You draw your sword and set off in the direction of the noise. Ahead, in the dim light,
What's that?
you see 2 hobgoblins fighting, punching, and kicking each other furiously.
During your adventure, you'll enter into combat a number of times, and the further you go, the tougher your opponents will be. Combat takes place over several rounds, and your attack strength is based on yours and your enemy's skill scores. For each round of battle, we'll roll 2 dice for you and 2 for your opponent, adding the results to your skill scores. These are your respective attack strengths. Whoever's attack strength is the highest wins that round of combat. If you both have the same attack strength in a round, then it will be a tie. In some battles, you can take an opportunity to escape. But beware. If you do run away, your opponent will automatically score 1 hit on you as you flee, costing you 2 stamina points. So be sure you have enough.
An opportunity
Such
attack.
is the price of cowardice.
Oh, damn.
You are playing using the traditional battle system from the original Deathtrap dungeon book. At the start of each round, you'll have a short time to decide to fight or to build up your stamina by eating your provisions or taking a potion, if you have one. After each battle round, you'll be able to test your luck. By using luck in battles, you can either score a more serious wound on your opponent,
Critical hit.
or minimize the effects of a wound scored on you. If you test your luck after you have just wounded your opponent, we'll roll 2 dice, and if the total is the same or less than your current luck score, you will have been lucky and will take an extra 2 points from your opponent's stamina. But if the roll is greater, then the damage to your opponent will be halved. If your opponent has just inflicted a 2 stamina wound on you, a lucky roll will halve that damage. But an unlucky roll will take an additional stamina point. One last thing. Testing your luck has a cost. Each time you test your luck score will be reduced by 1 point.
Next to where the hobgoblins are fighting, there is a leather bag
Ooh.
lying on the floor. And it seems to be this that they are fighting over.
I'll do neither, I'll just steal the bag.
their scuffle, they are completely unprepared for your attack. And you are able to kill the first one before he can draw his
Nice.
sword. You turn to face the remaining hobgoblin, who snarls at you with hatred.
You hurl a rock directly at the hobgoblin's head, but it bats it away.
Oh, damn.
You run at the hobgoblin, but it's ready and lands a punch squarely in your chin. The hobgoblin runs at you, but you twist aside as your sword lands home. The hobgoblin ducks as you swing at it, smashing its short sword into your leg. With one eye still on the bag, the hobgoblin doesn't see you attack and screeches as you land a blow. You fall back as the hobgoblin runs towards you, but you manage to roll away before he brings his sword down at you. Pretending to be tired, you bend over but grab a handful of dirt and throw it in the hobgoblin's face, making your subsequent attack very effective.
Cut and bruised from your victorious battle, you see that the hobgoblins have nothing of any use to you on them. So you decide to open the bag on the floor. Inside, you find a corked earthenware jug. You uncork it and sniff the liquid inside. It smells sharp and acrid. Acrid smoke rises from the jug as you lower the cloth into it. The liquid is unmistakably acid.
Oh,
You
damn.
recork the jug and place it in your backpack, hoping it may be of use to you later.
Good thing I didn't drink that, damn.
You sheathe your sword and press on, northwards. The tunnel soon takes another sharp right turn. Following it east, you arrive at a strange obstruction. A row of 12 wooden poles across the tunnel. They are fixed to the walls at each end, about half a meter off the floor and spaced about a meter apart. You step slowly over and between the poles, taking care not to touch any of them. This will be a test of your skill,
Uh-oh.
like the luck test. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current skill score,
Rip.
you have been skillful. But if the roll is higher than your skill score, then you aren't skillful enough.
Oh, yeah.
You step slowly over and between the poles, taking care not to touch any of them. After resting for a while, you set off east again. The tunnel ends at a junction. The footprints you have been following turn north, and you decide to stay with them. You soon come to another junction in the tunnel. One branch leads east, but the wet footprints you have been following continue north, and you decide to follow their trail. The passage opens out into a wide cavern which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist. On either side of the idol stand two giant stuffed, bird-like creatures.
Now, the creature I was following had probably died to whatever this was, so I'm going to probably climb through the cave. The tunnel in the opposite wall.
Not much farther down the tunnel, you come to a closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing. You enter a room which is small and completely empty. As soon as you are inside, the door slams shut behind you. Suddenly a voice booms out of nowhere, shouting, "Welcome to Deathtrap Dungeon, the ingenious killer labyrinth of my master. Adventurer, I trust you will pay your respects to my master by shouting out his name."
Oh, Simtech or something.
You take a deep breath and shout, "Hail Circumvit!" Once again, the mysterious voice calls out. Only this time its tone is full of contempt and derision.
Uh-oh.
"So, we have a sniveling weed in our midst, do we?" sneers the voice. "My master has a special gift for you, loathsome creep." Suddenly, water starts pouring into the room through a hole in the ceiling. It soon rises above your ankles, and there is no apparent way of escape. You wade back to the door. It is firmly locked, but in desperation you try ramming it with your shoulder. We'll see how skillful you really are. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your skill score means you have been skillful, but a roll higher than your skill could end bad.
Yep.
The door
Aha!
can't withstand the furious battering you are giving it. The center panel cracks and splinters, enabling you to kick a hole in it large enough for you to squeeze through. Soaked, but happy to have survived your ordeal, you set off north again. The tunnel twists and turns, but keeps steadily north. Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
I want to walk around the light. Just because it's laughter doesn't mean it's happy, and I'm gonna, as per every MMO, don't stand in the stuff on the ground. So walk around the light.
You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle. Lifting the latch and pushing the heavy stone door open, you find yourself in a large cabin. The light is dim and murky, but as your eyes begin to adjust, you see that the walls are covered in green algae and running with moisture. The floor is strewn with straw. The atmosphere is warm, damp, and fetid, and a soft humming sound fills the air. You step gingerly through the straw towards a corner of the cabin where there appears to be a shallow pit. Peering warily into the pit, you are disgusted to see a mass of pale, writhing worms, some as much as 1/2 meter long. Nauseated, you're about to turn away when you notice that their undulating bodies are swarming around a dagger. Its point held fast in a crack in the pit floor. The hilt is cased in black leather, studded with opals, and the blade is fashioned from a strange, reddish-black burnished metal you have never seen before. You long to touch the dagger, but this would mean plunging your hand in among the writhing worm.
I mean, the noise, the buzzing is obviously flies, because these are larvae, even lava. And what's a lava gonna do to you? Slime on you. So, reach for the dagger.
Taking a deep breath, you lean over the pit and plunge your forearm into the mass of wriggling worms. They are cold and clammy and feel extremely nasty, but at least they are harmless.
Yeah.
And you are able to seize the dagger by the hilt. You give it a hard tug and it comes away from the crack in which the tip was embedded. Admiring its beauty and wondering whether it might once have belonged to some luckless contestant, you put the opal-studded dagger firmly in your belt and leave the cabin. As you make your way back to the doorway, the buzzing sound increases in intensity.
I knew it was holding something,
You
wasn't it?
look around, desperate to discover where it's coming from.
Above you.
Glancing up in the nick of time, you see a huge and grotesque black shape of a giant fly emerging from a recess high up in the cavern wall. As it gets closer, you realize that it's at least 1.5 meters long. Its opaque wings vibrate, making the sickening buzzing noise you can hear. And its 6 black, hairy legs are poised to grasp your body. Below, its multifaceted eyes is a long, shiny black proboscis, which darts in and out venomously. You have stolen the giant fly's treasure from her brood of maggots, and you must face the consequences. It's time to test your luck again. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your luck score means you've been lucky, but a roll higher than your luck could end bad.
Oh, hell yeah.
The giant fly swoops down again to try to catch you, but this time you manage to evade its outstretched legs. Stepping back, you draw your sword and prepare to fight the hideous insect as it turns to attack you again.
The creature flies at you so close you can't use your weapons. Grabbing it by its legs, you swing around, slamming it into a wall.
You try your luck. Your luck is in.
You spin your sword around your head, clipping the fly and removing part of one of its legs. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fist flaming, and land a stunning blow.
Pleased with your victory, you wipe the vile yellow slime from the blade of your sword and walk quickly to the door, back to the tunnel, and head north. The tunnel ends shortly at a junction. Looking left and right, you see a narrow passage disappearing into the dim distance. Ahead, you hear the sound of rocks being ground and crushed. The noise grows louder, and suddenly you realize that the wall on your right is starting to collapse.
Oh god.
Terrified, you watch as a large, hideous, worm-like creature with a gaping mouth and powerful mandibles slithers through a hole in the wall. Its great jaws continue to crunch the rock as it turns its head slowly from side to side, feeling the cool air in the tunnel. It appears to be totally blind, but seems to know of your presence, perhaps sensing the heat of your body. It starts to slither towards you with its mandibles wide apart to attack. You draw your sword and advance slowly towards the huge, slimy rock grub.
Uh-oh.
Writhing around to grab you, the grub smashes into your leg. You are thrown off balance and crush your own arm as you land.
Yes.
The rock grub is strong, but slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its pulsating body. You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature.
Uh-oh.
You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall.
Oh, really?
Snapping at you with its mandibles, the creature catches your leg. You're able to fight it off, but the wound is deep. Writhing around to grab you, the grub smashes into your leg. You are thrown off balance and crush your own arm as you land.
It's Deathtrap Dungeon. It's an adventure book by Ian Livingstone.
You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall. Picking up a rock, you manage to smash it into the head of the rock grub. It screeches in pain, withdrawing enough for you to ready for another attack.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
Oh, brilliant.
The rock grub is strong,
Yeah.
slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its pulsating body. You pick up a chunk of rock from the tunnel wall and hurl it at the creature. It merely catches it in its powerful mandibles and crushes it to dust.
Oh my god, 2 6s.
You thrust your sword.
Max
You
damage.
clearly damage the creature.
One more time. Yes.
Picking up a rock, you manage to smash it into the head of the rock grub. It screeches in pain, withdrawing enough for you to ready for another attack.
Pleased with your combat skills, you step round the great bulk of the dead rock grub and peer into the darkness of the borehole it left. You can only see a few meters, but are able to make out that it inclines slightly and is wet from the secreted slime of the rock grub. Tapping the side of the borehole with your sword, you tread your way blindly through the sticky slime. You follow its twisting and turning course for what seems an age and begin to wonder where it might lead. Suddenly, you hear a slithering sound up ahead. You freeze with fear, your eyes desperately trying to pierce the pitch-black darkness. Before you realize what is happening, you are gripped round the neck by the powerful mandibles of another rock grub. It is the mate of the rock grub you killed.
Oh, I'm not dead, am
and
I?
has been attracted by the smell of blood on your sword. It squeezes harder,
Oh no.
until your neck snaps like
Oh,
a
no.
small twig.
No!
Your adventure ends here.
Damn it! I got a bit worried when the character stats went away. Jesus. Wow, I didn't get very far at all. I can reload at places, that's cool. I'll do it from the start though. I can do save one, the save one, that's cool.
Ahead, you hear the sound of rocks being ground and crushed. The noise grows louder.
I'll reset my thing and do it from the beginning. As you're supposed to do in the book.
Despite its name, Fang was an all.
Let's skip that bit.
Next,
Yeah, roll.
first, we'll roll for your initial level of skill. This reflects your sword skill and fighting expertise, and will be determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6.
No, I'm not keeping 1. Jeez, that's bad. Oh my god, stop giving me 1. Jesus. Okay, I'll take a 4. I'll take a 4.
Next, we'll roll for your initial stamina, which represents your strength. So the higher your stamina score, the longer you will survive. This will be determined by rolling 2 dice and adding 12.
Okay.
Next, we'll roll for your initial luck, which represents how lucky an adventurer you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy world you're about to explore. This is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6.
Oh, hell yeah. Max luck.
You may also take a magical potion with you to aid you on your quest. Each bottle of potion contains 2 measures, so can be used twice during an adventure. You can choose from a potion of skill that restores your skill points to their initial amount, a potion of strength that restores your stamina points to their initial amount, or a potion of fortune that not only restores your luck points to their initial amount, but will also increase your initial luck score by 1 each time it's used.
Yeah, I'm gonna take skill, because when that goes down, you can't really heal it.
Lastly, before you begin your quest, you are given enough provisions for 10 meals. When you eat a meal, your stamina score will increase by 4 points. But don't forget, your stamina can never exceed the initial amounts you've just set. You have a long way to go, so use your provisions wisely. Now it is your turn to salute the crowd.
Just gonna skip past that because it's so
The
loud.
clamor of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-meter intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiseled walls disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach. Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel. The air is cold moist, and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it, there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name painted on its lid. The lid of the box lifts off easily, and inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message, which says, "Well done. At least you had the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my Deathtrap dungeon. Signed, Succumbit." Memorizing the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel, where you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while one decided to go east.
I went west last time, so I'm going to go east.
Ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor. Although it is too dark to make out exactly what it is, the wet, eastbound footprints you have been following carry on towards the obstruction. You see that the obstruction is a large, brown, boulder-like object. You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it is soft and spongy. You see that the obstruction is a large, brown, boulder-like object. You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it is soft and spongy.
No, I followed the footprints last time. That led me a lot through the dungeon, but then I died. So I'm going the other way this time. But I believe what I'm seeing here is a slime, which I'm not going to slice it with my sword. Because if it's brown, then it's a rust slime or acid slime or something. Probably climbing over it is even worse, so I'm going to climb over it.
You clamber onto the soft boulder,
Right.
half expecting to be engulfed by it at any moment. Getting over it is difficult, as your limbs sink into its soft casing, but eventually you manage to struggle over it.
Oh, good.
Relieved to be back on firm ground. You press on east, where the tunnel makes a turn to the left and heads north, for as far as you can see. The footprints you are following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes gradually drier. Soon, you are beyond the dripping roof and the pools on the floor. You notice the air becoming hotter, and you find yourself panting, even though you are walking quite slowly. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see it is filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat
Oh,
of the tunnel.
I don't want to drink the liquid, it's probably really dodgy. So I'm going to continue north.
You shake your head,
Oh god.
trying desperately to stop yourself from blacking out. But the heat is too much for you, and you fall unconscious to the floor,
Shit.
wishing you had a cool drink. This will be a test of your skill. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current skill score, you have been skillful. But if it's higher, then your skill will have been found lacking.
6.
Your immense strength and grim determination and our skillful dice roll keeps you from falling unconscious to the floor. You grit your teeth and press on resolutely, as mercifully the temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again.
Yeah, but that whole
On the
place.
left-hand
One
side of
sec.
the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
But that, why I didn't take it is because that room is meant to make you try to drink it, and then placing just so happened to have a drink in quotes, at the end of it, it was really suspect. And this game is Deathtrap Dungeon. So, just gonna see what he said again.
Your immense strength and grim determination and our skillful dice roll keeps you from falling unconscious to the floor. You grit your teeth and press on resolutely, as mercifully the temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
Okay. Let's slide the plate open.
The small plate slides open easily, and you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door.
Ooh.
On the opposite wall, there is a coil of rope hanging on one of two iron hooks.
Learn to trust more. Haha. Not in this game.
The door swings open into the room, and you step back and jump over the pit. You put the rope in your backpack and jump back over the pit to leave the room.
You'll have to do your skill test. That's
Head
interesting.
north. Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn a corner and almost bump straight into two fierce-looking orcs, armed with morning stars and wearing leather armor. You are totally unprepared for them and struggle to ready your weapons.
During your adventure, you'll enter into combat a number of times, and the further you go, the tougher your opponents will be. Combat takes place over several rounds, and your attack strength is based on yours and your enemy's skill scores. For each round of battle, we'll roll 2 dice for you and 2 for your opponent, adding the results to your skill scores. These are your respective attack strengths. Whoever's attack strength is the highest wins that round of combat. If you both have the same attack strength in a round, then it will be a tie. In some battles, you can take an opportunity to escape. But beware. If you do run away, your opponent will automatically score 1 hit on you as you flee, costing you 2 stamina points. So be sure you have enough. Such is the price of cowardice. We are playing using the traditional battle system from the original Deathtrap Dungeon book. At the start of each round, you'll have a short time to decide to fight or to build up your stamina by eating your provisions or taking a potion, if you have one. After each battle round, you'll be able to test your luck. By using luck in battles, you can either score a more serious wound on your opponent or minimize the effects of a wound scored on you. If you test your luck after you have just wounded your opponent, we'll roll 2 dice, and if the total is the same or less than your current luck score, you will have been lucky and will take an extra 2 points from your opponent's stamina.
But if the roll is greater, then the damage to your opponent will be halved. If your opponent has just inflicted a 2 stamina wound on you, a lucky roll will halve that damage. But an unlucky roll will take an additional stamina point. One last thing. Testing your luck has a cost. Each time you test your luck score will be reduced by 1 point. The orcs roar. And as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which thuds into your arm,
Jeez.
knocking your sword to the floor.
Oh no.
You must fight them barehanded.
Oh my god.
Reducing your skill by 4 for the duration of the combat. Fortunately, the tunnel is too narrow for both orcs to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
Well, that's one small favour, I guess. Jesus. Yep, I got more.
You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Yes.
You leap forward to grab the orc, but he sees you and pushes you aside, readying his attack. Neither of you are harmed.
Oh, I think I got more.
You drop to the ground, sweeping away the orc's legs. Its head hits the ground hard with a sickening crunch. The orc's morning star is a formidable weapon, and you can't stop it smashing into your ankles, knocking you off balance.
A morning star to the ankles. That sounds bad. But shatter them. I won. I think.
You duck under the orc's
Oh,
morning star,
yeah.
grab it, and ram its head hard into the wall. The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
He's
the
wrong.
orc runs at you, smashing you painfully into the wall.
He's wrong again.
You parry, but your enemy is too fast and you crack your head on the floor as it knocks you to the ground.
I've won.
You hurl yourself
Please?
at your
Yes.
enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Oh my god. He's won.
The orc's morning star is a formidable weapon, and you can't stop it smashing into your ankles, knocking you off balance.
Oh.
The orc runs at you, smashing you painfully into the wall.
I won.
You drop to the ground, sweeping away the orc's legs. Its head hits the ground hard with a sickening crunch. Your fists are sore from the fight, but you pick up your sword and see if the orcs had anything of use. Inside one of the orc's pockets, you find 1 gold piece and a hollow wooden cube. You put your findings in your backpack
Wow.
and set off.
That was that fight was so worth it.
Droplets of water again start falling from the tunnel's ceiling. Heading west, you see wet footprints made by the same boots that you followed earlier. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further. The door opens into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals,
Oh my god.
who has obviously met a sudden gory death. It is one of the barbarians, and he is impaled on several long iron spikes that are fixed to a frame which has sprung out of the floor. A lot of debris litters the floor, concealing a hidden tripwire which he must have stepped on, releasing the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove, in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table. The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty, apart from some strange-looking dried meat wrapped in a cloth.
Now, the question is, do I trust the tried mysterious meat and eat it, or do I leave the meat and go to the alcove? What do you think? It's clearly beef jerky, just eat it. Sure.
The meat contains herbs which increase your strength, adding 3 to your stamina score.
Oh, hell yeah. Ah, well done. Let's go to the alcove.
You walk slowly over to the alcove, carefully checking the floor for any more hidden traps. You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid.
Oh, do we trust the liquid? I'm guessing that the trap for the room was the trap the guy died in, so maybe the red liquid helps me? I mean, what red liquid is bad? I mean, there's I can think blood and wine. Healing potion. That's alright. Don't worry. I'm gonna drink it because I'm gonna trust it that the red liquid in the strange goblet in a Deathtrap dungeon is not gonna kill me.
As you lift the goblet, it releases a sprung catch.
Oh
and
no.
a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg.
Oh no.
This will be a test of your luck.
Oh, I got max luck, I'm fine.
Roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky.
There's no way I can
But
not
if
be
the
lucky
roll is
then.
higher than your luck
The highest is
score,
12.
then your luck isn't in.
I win.
Your reflexes are sharp, and you quickly jump aside. The dart whistles past, only just missing you, and thuds into the opposite wall. You see the goblet lying on the floor, and the red liquid running away in rivulets over the grey stone. At least the goblet may be of use. So you put it in your backpack, leave the chamber, and continue west. The passage soon
Never
leads
find
to
out.
a junction where you notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs, heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist. On either side of the idol stand 2 giant stuffed bird-like creatures.
Okay, so I'm guessing the footprints that come here and then disappear. They tried to climb up, steal the jewels, and then got killed by the birds on the side. That is my guess. So either I do the same thing and win the fight, or just ignore it. I mean, he's sitting like Buddha. Get the jewels. Alright.
The idol is very smooth and will be difficult to climb. But the rope you found earlier
Ah!
is here, and you make it into a lasso. You whirl the rope above your head and throw it up at the idol, smiling happily as it lands around its neck. You then tighten the noose and start to climb, pulling yourself up the rope. You are soon at the top of the idol, sitting on the bridge of its nose and holding on to the rope. You draw your sword and wonder which jeweled eye to prize out first.
Yeah. Right eye or left eye? Look what this is. Oh, tools. Okay. Let's go. Let's hope you pick left eye.
As you touch the idol's emerald eye, you hear a creaking sound below you.
Rep.
Looking down, you are shocked to see the two stuffed
Oh,
birds
rip.
flying off.
Wait, what?
Their wings flap in jerky movements.
Oh, you did? Ha!
But they are soon above you and look set to attack.
Rip.
You'll fight the flying guardians one at a time, but reduce your skill by 2 during
What?
this combat
Why?
because of your restricted position.
Oh, come on. Oh, now mine's only 1 higher.
Clawing at your legs with its talons,
Ah.
the Guardian rips away a chunk of your stamina. You're able to grab the wing of the Guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina. The Guardian
yeah.
snaps at you with its vicious beak, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck.
Yep.
Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons, you're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the Guardian's toes.
One more hit, come on. Yeah.
You're able to grab the wing of the Guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina.
The crumpled form of the first flying guardian falls crashing to the floor. So you ready yourself to take on the second.
Awesome,
The
maybe?
Guardian snaps at you
Yeah.
with its vicious beak, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck.
Come on. Oh yeah, 2 6s.
Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons, you're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the Guardian's toes.
A 5 and a 3. Yep, got it.
You're able to grab the wing of the Guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina.
Yep, got it again.
The
Wow.
guardian snaps at you with its vicious beak, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck.
Your final swipe dispatches the second flying guardian. You look down and see the crumpled bodies of the two flying guardians lying motionless on the floor. You start to prise out the idol's emerald eye with the tip of your sword. At last it comes free, and you are surprised by its weight when it falls into your hand. Hoping it may be of use later, you put it in your backpack.
Take out the right eye, because it's dead, so let's go for
You
it.
try to force the point of your sword under the emerald eye.
I feel like I'm about to die because
Much to your
everything's gone again.
surprise, the emerald shatters on contact, releasing a jet of poisonous
Damn
gas
it!
straight into your face. The gas knocks you out,
Ah!
and you release the rope, bouncing down the idol and crashing onto the stone floor. Your adventure ends.
But at least we picked the right one the first time round. That sucks. I think I was here.
There is a large idol in the center of the cabin that must be 6 meters high. In its head, the idol is very...
Let's do
As
this
you
fight
touch
again.
the idol's emerald eye, you hear a creaking sound below you. Looking down, you are shocked to see the two stuffed birds flying off.
Ah, can you believe
Their
it?
wings flap in jerky movements, but they are soon above you and look set to attack. You'll fight the flying guardians one at a time, but reduce your skill by 2 during this combat because of your restricted position.
Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons, you're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the guardian's toes.
Well, he had 3 eyes, so I was like, I'm gonna take them all.
You're able to grab the wing of the guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina. The guardian snaps at you with its vicious beak, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck.
Come on. Ah.
The guardian snaps at you with its vicious beak. You parry, but the tip of the creature's beak sinks deep into your arm. The beating wing of the guardian smashes into the side of your head, leaving you seeing stars and sapping your stamina.
I will have that emerald. Come on. Yeah, that's fine.
Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons, you're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the guardian's toes.
The crumpled form of the first flying guardian falls crashing to the floor. So you ready yourself to take on the second.
Yeah, I won that
You're able
one.
to grab the wing of the guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina.
Come on.
The guardian snaps at you
yes.
with its vicious beak, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck.
Outstretched neck. 5 and a 5. Come on, yes.
Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons. You're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the Guardian's toes.
Yeah, I
You're
should...
able to grab the wing of the
Yeah.
Guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers.
Flawless
You
victory!
took some of its stamina.
Against that
Your
one,
final
anyway.
swipe dispatches the second flying Guardian. You look down and see the crumpled bodies of the two flying Guardians lying motionless on the floor.
Let's climb down the idol.
Back on solid ground once again on the cavern floor, you try to shake the rope off the idol's neck. This will be a test of your luck. Remember, 2 dice are rolled. Equal to or less than your current
Luck?
score.
Oh, I'm fine.
You'll have been lucky. Higher than your current luck score, you have been unlucky.
I should never use luck in combat, that way I always win these.
The lasso loosens itself, and you are able to shake it free of the idol's neck. It falls to the floor with a loud clatter. You quickly coil the rope up again and put it in your backpack.
Oh, hell yeah.
Wasting no more time in the cavern, you run forward to the tunnel in the northern wall. Not much farther down the tunnel, you come to a closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing.
Let's open the door.
You enter a room which is small and completely empty. As soon as you are inside, the door slams shut behind you.
Oh,
Suddenly a voice
I had-
booms out.
I had
of
this one
nowhere,
last time, I don't know what to do.
Welcome to Deathtrap Dungeon, the ingenious killer labyrinth of my master. Adventurer, I trust you will pay your respects to my master by shouting out his name. You take a deep breath and shout, Succumvit as a worm. Once again, the mysterious voice calls out, only this time, to your great surprise, in a far less threatening tone. Good. My master likes those who show spirit. Take this gift to help you. It will grant you one wish, but one wish only.
Oh yeah.
Farewell.
I
A
wish to
gold
finish
ring
this.
magically appears out of nowhere and lands at your feet with a gentle tinkle. You pick it up and put it on one of your fingers. The door opens and you step back into the tunnel to continue north. The tunnel twists and turns, but keeps steadily north. Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
Okay, so this is the same path as I went last time. So I went around the light because I was like, nope. Maybe we'll do it different this time. What about you, Jake? Do you think that is safe and I should go into it? Or should I go around it? Do, do, do. Wait, what's my max stamina? 19. Oh, I'm guessing you would not say walk through the light because it looks trustworthy.
As soon as your head goes under the blue light, you hear the sound of muffled voices. The faces are no longer laughing,
Oh
but
dear.
have changed their expressions to one of despair and anguish.
Oh dear God.
A young girl's sad face hovers in front of you, and she begins to whisper a poem. Transfixed, you listen intently, believing that she has a special message for you as she recites, "When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Take a breath and jump deep in, if your trial you hope to win."
Okay.
Memorizing the spirit girl's poem, you step through the shaft of light and quickly head on.
Well, there you go. I do need to be more trustworthy
You come
because
to an arched
that helped
doorway
me.
set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle.
Let's try the door.
Lifting the latch and pushing the heavy stone door open, you find yourself in a large cavern. The light is
Oh.
dim and murky.
I've done this one. I'm going to skip through this one quick. Reach the dagger.
Taking a deep
Get that one. Get that one. In a fight. Or luck.
The giant fly swoops down again to
Basically, I got a dagger. I got it last time. I think you were here for it.
Flies at you so close you can't use your weapons. Grabbing it by its legs, you swing around, slamming it into a wall. Again, it grabs you with 4 of its legs, climbing quickly and dropping you to the floor, landing heavily.
Stuck the giant fly.
You spin your sword around your head, clipping the fly and removing part of one of its legs. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fist flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Come on,
The
no.
fly charges at you,
Oh,
but you're able to duck out of the way. The creature flies at you so close you can't use your weapons. Grabbing it by its legs, you swing around, slamming it into a wall.
Pleased with your victory, you wipe the vile yellow slime from the blade of your sword and walk quickly to the door, back to the tunnel. The tunnel ends shortly.
let's go. I did west last time, going east this time.
You walk down the passage and soon find yourself standing at the edge of a deep, dark pit. The passage continues east on the other side of the pit. You think you could probably jump over the pit, but you're not sure. There is a rope hanging down from the ceiling over the center of the pit.
Right, so reach for the rope with your sword to enable you to swing across the pit. I'm guessing the rope is actually a snake. Jump over the pit, and then it actually put carrying all your possessions, which means I'm blatantly going to lose them all. Or throw your shield over the pit and jump after it. Why would I throw my shield? What would that do for me? I'm going to throw my shield over the pit, because that seems the safest.
Just as you're about to release the shield and throw it over the pit, it slips from your fingers and rolls away.
Right.
You are unable to catch it before it falls over the edge of the pit
Right.
clattering down its sides to the bottom.
Right.
The loss of your shield reduces your fighting ability, decreasing your skill points by 1. Cursing your own clumsiness, you step forward, leap across the pit, and land safely on the other side.
Seriously?
You waste no time, but head off, east. The tunnel makes a sudden left turn and continues north, as far as you can see. You soon arrive at a closed wooden door in the left-hand wall.
I like opening doors, let's go.
The door opens into a large candlelit room filled with incredibly lifelike statues of knights and warriors. A white-haired old man dressed in tattered rags jumps out from behind one of the statues and starts to giggle. Though he looks like a fool, the sparkle in his eyes makes you think there is more to him. In a high-pitched voice, he says, "Oh, good! Another stone from my garden. I'm glad you have come to join your friends. Now, I'm a fair man, so I'll ask you a question. If you answer correctly, I'll let you go free. But if your answer is wrong, I'll turn you to stone." He starts to chuckle again, obviously pleased with your arrival. The old man points at one of the statues, and you recognize it immediately. It is the knight who started the trial of champions. The agonized look on his face locked in stone for eternity. The old man smiles, saying,
"This man weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. How much does he weigh?"
"What will you answer?"
100 pounds plus half his weight. But 100, the man. So it's 100 plus half his weight. But 100 isn't his weight, so. Maybe I'm just brain farting, but how can you work that out? So he weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. So his total weight is 100 pounds plus half his weight. But how do you work out his weight? Because his weight's not 100 pounds. His weight is the 100 plus a half. So it's not 150, which would be the obvious answer. So it'd be 200. Because if it's a 100 plus half his weight, if his weight is 200, if it's 100 plus 100, it'd be 200. So yeah, it should be 200.
Still smiling, the old man looks at you and says,
"Well done, stranger.
Aha!
You have answered correctly. I wish you good fortune during the rest of the trial of champions. And to this end, I shall increase your powers."
He then mutters a few more unintelligible words, and you feel a powerful surge soar through your body, increasing your skill, stamina, and luck by 1. You bid the old man farewell and leave his room to continue north along the passage. Only a few meters further down the passage, You see another closed door in the left-hand wall. The letter X is scratched into its center panel. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently, but can hear nothing.
Okay, so I have to listen to that again. If it's a door with an X on, I'm saying no, because in a mine, I believe they do that to signify there's like gas behind the door.
Only a few meters further down the passage, you see another closed door in the left-hand wall. The letter X is scratched into its center panel. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently, but can hear nothing.
No, I don't trust that. I keep walking out.
The passage slowly starts to climb, leading you relentlessly northwards. There are no doorways or even an alcove to investigate, and you become less guarded as you plod on. After a while, you become so nonchalant that you fail to notice a thin tripwire stretched low across the passage. It is only when your foot catches it and you hear a distant
Oh my
rumble
god, no.
that you realize your mistake.
Do do do
The rumbling sound
do.
swells to an almost deafening level, and suddenly, out of the gloom of the tunnel ahead, you see a massive boulder rolling towards you, gathering speed with every second. You turn to flee the oncoming boulder. You run faster than you have ever run in your life, but still the boulder is catching up on you. This is a tough one. A test of both your skill and stamina.
Oh, damn it.
We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than both your skill and stamina scores, you should be fine.
Oh! Have to get it low in the
If the
10.
number rolled is more than either of them, then things could end very badly.
You evil bastard. Oh, 4! Yes, I win!
Fear gives you a new surge of energy, and somehow your tired legs manage to keep you in front of the boulder. Ahead, on your right, you see the welcome sight of a doorway. You lunge at the door, and mercifully it flies open. The boulder thunders past you, and you are left lying exhausted on the floor of a large room. Looking around you, you see an alcove in the west wall and a stone chair in the middle of the room. Sitting in the chair is the skeleton of an armed warrior, possibly a contestant from years gone by. The skeletal fingers of its right hand grip a crumpled parchment.
Okay, so first of all, I'd take his weapon, put it far away from him, possibly even take off his armor before taking the obvious trap where he's going to come alive and try to kill me. But I'm going to take the parchment.
Touching the parchment has precisely the effect you had feared. The skeleton lurches forward, and rising from its chair in a series of jerky movements, raises its sword to strike you.
This is why I wanted to move the stuff.
Lunging sideways, you draw your sword to defend yourself.
Although he's just going to stare at me then. So I have to get at least 2 higher than the other ones. Ooh, no.
The warrior's strength
Maybe.
is surprising. No. You raise your shield to defend yourself, but it smashes you painfully against the wall. You fall back as the warrior advances towards you. You manage to roll away before he brings his sword down on you.
Ugh, I've got terrible rolls.
You jump back as the skeleton swings its sword, but not quickly enough, and it tears into your shoulder, sapping your stamina.
There you go, that's better.
You dodge to the side as the warrior swings its sword. You kick out, knocking its legs out from under it.
Oh my
You
god.
raise your sword to parry the skeleton's attack, but it knocks your sword aside and lands a painful blow.
Damn.
You run around the jerking skeleton, smashing your sword into its arm.
One more hit. Come on, 5 and a 1. Yeah.
The skeleton is strong, but slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its leg.
Once again, you reach for the parchment, only this time lying amidst a pile of broken bones. Unfolding it, you see a map of a room with a drawing of a hideous creature inside it. Beneath the monster is a rhyme, which reads, "Should you meet the manticore, of its tail beware. Shield yourself against the spikes, flying through the air." You fold up the piece of parchment.
Good thing I don't have my shield.
In your backpack, repeating the rhyme over and over to yourself. You walk across to the alcove. At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar. Cobwebs brush your face as you descend. The cellar ceiling is quite low, and the floor is strewn with debris. In the middle of the wall opposite you is an archway, which leads into another crystal-lit tunnel. There are large mushrooms growing on the debris to your right.
One, I don't like mushrooms. They could be poisonous, they could be anything, they could be mushrooms, they could be edible. I'm going to step out of the archway.
The tunnel continues west for several hundred meters, finally ending at some steps leading up to a closed trapdoor.
Hello,
You
Leroy.
climb the steps slowly, hearing muffled voices above you. In the dim light, you can see that the trapdoor is not locked.
Right, I'm going to heal up before I run through. Let's eat 2. And then burst through.
You throw the trapdoor open and run up the steps into a bright, lantern-lit room. 2 goblins are sharpening their short swords on a stone set in the middle of the floor. You catch them momentarily off guard,
Yes.
but they quickly recover and both rush forward to attack you. A point of note here, adventurer. Because of the shape of the room,
Oh no.
both goblins will have a separate attack on you each attack round. However, here your attack will only be effective on one of the goblins. Against the other, you must still use your attack strength in the normal way. But even if your attack would have been effective, you will not wound it. It will just count this as though you have defended yourself. However, if its attack strength is greater, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
At least they only have 5. Ooh.
You thrust your sword,
Yeah.
and you clearly damage the creature.
I got this.
You both
Right.
swing for each other, and in the confusion,
Yeah.
both miss.
Wait, what?
Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg.
1 down.
You lunge at the creature's stomach
Rip.
with your sword drawn,
Oh, lucky.
but the creature whips around, parrying your blow. Neither of you are harmed. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature.
I got this.
Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain
Oh,
as your
yeah.
sword sinks into his leg.
Triumphant in one of your toughest battles to date, you see that the only furniture in the goblin's room is a table, 2 chairs, and a cupboard on the wall.
Such
There
cover.
are 2 closed doors, one in the west wall and the other in the north wall.
Open the cupboard.
The cupboard contains a wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes, which you put in your backpack while wondering which door to open.
Right, anyone watching? Do I go out the north door or do I go out the west door? Comment your decision. I'll wait for your connections. I believe Leroy, you're in Illinois, and the other guy's from Canada. Hi Leroy. This game is Deathtrap Dungeon, which is kind of like a game book that came out in like the 90s, I think, or probably before that. Probably before that. It's probably like the 60s or something. But this is a famous actor called... One moment. Yeah, this is a famous actor called Eddie Marsan, and he's been the narrator for this. So basically, it's a multiple choice, like adventure game. So Leroy, what do you think? Should I go out the north door or the west door? North. Okay, it'll be on your head. Be it then. If I die.
The door opens into another tunnel, which rises gently into the distance. After walking uphill for a while, the tunnel levels out, and you soon arrive at a door in the right-hand wall, to which a withered hand is nailed.
Do we open the door or do we continue north? So there's a door with a hand nailed onto it. Is that trustworthy? It's kind of like D&D, but yeah, it's just a choose your own venture game. Open the door. Let's go.
You enter a room in which
Oh,
a
nice.
man in tattered clothing is standing chained to the wall by his left arm. And you see that his right hand is missing, and realize that this must be the one nailed to the door. Pleading for mercy, he cowers back from you as far as his chains will allow.
Okay, so as I know, in history, cutting someone's hand off is if they were thieving. So he could just be a thief. So do we just forget he exists and continue north, or cut him free from his chains, where he probably doesn't have anything to give me, but it might be the right thing to do. This is the only story, Deathtrap Dungeon, but they are coming out with more, and I'm hoping they get more celebrities to voice them. One by like Vin Diesel will be cool, or I don't know, anyone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I don't know. Yeah, this is it at the moment. It's early access on Steam. So what do you think, Leroy? Shall we ignore him, or shall we cut him free? How nice are you? I'd like to live dangerously, so cut the man free. Cool, let's go.
You step up to the frightened man and cleave the chain with your sword. He drops to his knees and bows, thanking you over and over again. He tells you that 4 years ago, he entered the Trial of Champions but failed. He fell down a pit and had to be rescued by a trial master, one of Baron Sukhumvit's dungeon administrators. He was offered a choice between death or servitude in Deathtrap Dungeon as the trial master's minion. Choosing the latter, he worked like a slave until he could stand it no longer and tried to escape. Alas, he was unsuccessful and was captured by the trial master's wandering orc guards. To teach him a lesson, they cut off his hand and condemned him to a year's imprisonment in this cell. You ask him whether he has any information that might be of use to you. He scratches his head. Well, I haven't exactly done very well in here myself, but I do know that you need to collect gems and precious stones if you hope to get out. I don't know why, but there it is. Without another word, the ragged prisoner dashes out of the room, turning left into the tunnel. You decide to keep heading north and turn right. There is an open pipe in the right-hand wall, about 1 meter in diameter. It is too dark to see far down it. You shout into it and hear your voice echoing down the iron pipe until eventually the sound fades away.
Now, do I crawl down the creepy pipe, or we just ignore it and we go north? Crawl down the pipe. It's not like we're gonna find the clown from It down it. I mean, not in this, right?
The pipe is wet and slimy, but you crawl on into the dank darkness, slithering and sliding as you go. Suddenly your hand touches something hard and square, which feels as if it is made of wood. It rattles as you shake it, and you decide you must be holding a box.
Oh. Okay, so either we go down the pipe, taking the box for you to examine later, or the sensible thing to do would be to crawl back out of the pipe and look at the box. Him breathing intently with his mouth there. Let's look at the box, because that sounds like the intelligent thing to do.
Box lid by the light of the tunnel. You find an iron key and a large gem. It is
Ooh.
a sapphire.
Ooh.
Placing the items carefully in your backpack, you gain 1 luck point
Ooh.
to set off north.
Oh, I already have maximum, so...
There is a new branch in the tunnel on your left, and ahead you see 2 bodies lying on the floor. You stop and peer down the new tunnel, but seeing no doors or creatures, you decide against walking down it. With your sword drawn, you walk over to the bodies of the 2 orc guards. At least one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions must still be ahead of you. A quick search of the bodies produces nothing, apart from a necklace of teeth around the neck of one of the orcs.
I was going to say pick up the necklace, but he wants me to wear it, which is a whole other thing. Okay, so there's 2 dead orcs on the ground. There's nothing around that could have killed them. So they must have killed themselves. But one's got a necklace of teeth. Ignore the bodies. Wear the possibly dangerous necklace. Let's see. I'm gonna say the necklace probably killed those orcs. Probably sent one berserk and then the one attacked it and killed it. So I'm gonna set off north.
The tunnel soon ends at a junction. Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he doesn't answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish. The tunnel soon ends at a junction. Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he doesn't answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish. Although you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions, you are both content to share in the benefits of a temporary alliance. And you begin to tell each other of your exploits so far, of the monsters and traps encountered and the dangers overcome. Walking along, you soon come to the edge of a wide pit. It is too deep and dark to see to the bottom. The barbarian suggests he lowers you to the bottom with his rope, saying he has a torch which he can light for you to use. Although you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions, you are both content to share in the benefits of a temporary alliance. And you begin to tell each other of your exploits so far, of the monsters and traps encountered and the dangers overcome. Walking along, you soon come to the edge of a wide pit. It is too deep and dark to see to the bottom. The barbarian suggests he lowers you to the bottom with his rope, saying he has a torch which he can light for you to use. The barbarian, who tells you he is called Throm, ties the rope around his waist, giving you the free end. As he lights the torch, you see a look of distrust in his eyes. Slowly, he climbs over the edge of the pit while you brace yourself and take the strain of the rope. As you lower him little by little, you see the smooth sides of the pit illuminated by Throm's torch. He finally reaches the bottom and calls up to you, saying that there is another tunnel running north. He tells you to secure the rope around a rock protruding from the edge of the pit and lower yourself to the bottom. After tying the rope around the rock, you lower yourself slowly to the bottom of the pit. Throm retrieves his rope by shaking it off the rock, and you set off together down the new tunnel. On a stone ledge in the tunnel wall, you see 2 dusty leather-bound books. Throm grunts his contempt for the written word, urging you to leave the books and hurry on. The book pages are sealed together, but a small hole has been cut out in the middle of them, just large enough to hold a small corked bottle containing a clear liquid. You show it to Throm, who holds up his hand, indicating that he does not want you to come anywhere near him with it. His distrust of things unknown is strongly evident. As you open the book, it immediately begins to disintegrate. The pages turn into dust in your hands. You manage to keep a few fragments and read the handwritten script. The book appears to be about monsters, and from what you can make out, it contains a full description of a monster called the Blood Beast. It is a horrific, bloated creature with tough, spiny skin and facial blisters which burst open to become mock eyes, evolved to hide the blood beast's only weak spot, the real eyes. Blood beasts usually dwell in pools of fetid slime which give off a poisonous gas so strong that it alone can easily knock people unconscious. The blood beast, although too bulbous to haul itself out of its slime pool, has a long and vicious tongue which it wraps around its victims before it drags them into its pool. As the helpless and still living victim's flesh decomposes in the vile slime, the blood beast will feed on it. You tell Throm about the grotesque blood beast. He merely shrugs his shoulders and tells you to get going. Setting off, you continue your journey north with Throm. The tunnel turns sharply to the right, continuing east for as far as you can see. Throm stops and tells you to halt as well. He turns his head slowly from side to side, listening. I hear footsteps coming down the tunnel towards us, he whispers. Draw your sword. You both crouch down to hide in the shadows, and not a minute too soon. For a moment later, you see the silhouette of 2 armed guards. Throm jumps up and dashes forward, screaming a loud battle cry. They are 2 cave trolls.
Oh, damn.
Throm attacks the first one with his battle axe, and you run to his aid to attack the second.
Cave troll? Oh, same. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Oh, nope, dead.
The troll swings low, crashing into your ankles, knocking you off balance. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing. and land a stunning blow. The troll takes a swing at your head. Thankfully, you duck just in time. The troll grabs you by the throat and manages to half choke you before you get a chance to push it off.
Oh hell yeah,
You
can't be
drop
that.
to the ground, sweeping away the troll's legs. It howls as its head hits the hard ground. You leap forward to grab the troll, but he sees you and pushes you aside. Neither of you are harmed. You parry the attack, but your enemy is too strong, and you crack your head on the floor as you hit the ground. The troll takes a swing at your head. Thankfully, you duck just in time.
Rip.
The troll swings low, crashing into your ankles, knocking you off balance. You drop to the ground, grab the creature, and ram its head hard into the wall. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Why am my fists flailing? I have the sword. Rip.
The troll grabs you by the throat and manages to half choke you before you get a chance to push it off.
Oh yeah.
You drop to the ground, sweeping away the troll's legs. It howls as its head hits the hard ground.
You try your luck. Your luck.
You look to the left and see Throm standing over the cave troll he has slain. Blood is pouring out from a deep cut in his shoulder, but it does not seem to worry him. You search the bodies of the cave trolls, but find nothing apart from a bone ring on a leather cord hanging round the neck of one of them. The ring is engraved with a symbol which Throm recognizes. He explains that it must have belonged to druids of the north, and that an ancient talisman such as this will increase your powers if your body is able to accept it.
Hell yeah, put the ring on. But I want to heal up first.
As soon as you put the ring on your finger, your whole body starts to shake. We'll see how skillful you really are. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your skill score means you've been skillful. But a roll higher than your skill could end badly.
Oh, 10.
Your body continues to vibrate intensely, and you feel as if you're about to pass out. But your strength is great, and you manage to withstand the tremendous shock to your system. Finally, you calm down and begin to feel the ring's beneficial powers working on you and adding 3 stamina points.
Oh, hell yeah.
You see Throm looking at you anxiously, so you reassure him that you are fully recovered. He strides off east, and you follow him eagerly. The tunnel leads into a damp cavern with a high ceiling and rock-strewn floor. Long and wet, teeth-like stalactites hang down threateningly. The constant dripping creates smoky pools on the floor. The tunnel carries on through an archway carved in the shape of a demonic mouse. You walk around the cavern, but find nothing of interest. Throm calls out behind you, saying that he has found a leather pouch under a pile of rocks. Opening the pouch, he laughs out loud as a tiny mouse runs through his fingers and scurries off into the crevice behind 2 boulders. Suddenly, you hear the sound of cracking rock above you
Oh no.
and look up to see stalactites breaking off from the roof. Throm's booming laugh, which still echoes through the chamber, has made the stalactites vibrate and break off. You yell at Throm to run through the archway as the stalactites start to crash to the floor. This will be a test of your luck.
Oh, I'm fine with luck. Unless it's 2 6s.
Despite the stalactites crashing all around you, you manage to dash through the archway without injury. You look around and see Throm thundering towards you, one arm held over his head for protection. He dashes into the tunnel and leans against the cold wall, panting heavily, apologizing for starting the rockfall, and offers you his hand to shake. You tell Throm that maybe he should use sign language in future, even for laughing. You both smile and head east once more. The tunnel ends at a large oak door. Throm wastes no time in testing the handle and is somewhat surprised to find the door unlocked. He pushes it open and walks into a torch-lit chamber. Sitting alone on an ornate chair is a dwarf who bids you enter. As you do so, the oak door swings shut behind you. Adventurers, you have done well to get this far, says the dwarf in a deep voice. However, as you both know, there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions. As Trial Master, it is my duty to Baron circumvent, to let only the most able continue. Therefore, I must devise a test of wits and strength to eliminate one of you. Please do not attempt to dispose of me. It will be utterly pointless, for, as you can see, there is no obvious way out of this chamber, and only I know where the hidden exit lies. Know if you would care to decide between you who will go first. I shall make the necessary preparations. You look at Throm, suddenly angry that your effective partnership might come to an end. He leans over and whispers in your ear that you should try to kill the dwarf and worry about the exit later. You tell Throm that there is no point in killing the dwarf, as you will never find your way out of the chamber alone. You argue that an opportunity of tricking the dwarf might arise later, once you have found the exit from the chamber. So you intend to go through with the dwarf's test. You tell the dwarf that you are ready, and he beckons you to follow him, telling Throm to wait for his return. A secret door opens in the chamber wall, and you follow the dwarf into a small circular room. He closes the door behind you and hands you 2 bone dice, telling you to throw them onto the floor. You roll a 6 and a 2, a total of 8. The dwarf asks you to roll them again, but this time you must predict whether the total will be the same, less, or more than the 8. The dwarf looks at the dice.
Not very good at playing the odds, are you?
He sneers.
I regret you must suffer a penalty before you can continue.
From out of his pocket, he produces 2 pills. One is stamped with the letter S, and the other stamped with the letter L. He asks you to choose one and swallow it.
Small or large, basically. There's nothing, no bad words, like L could be. There must be small and large, so...
The pill makes you feel as though the whole world is against you, reducing your luck points by 2. The dwarf tells you
that's fine
that
by
you
me.
can now go on to the second stage of the test. He reaches for a wicker basket which, he informs you, contains a snake. He tips the basket over and the snake drops out onto the floor. It is a cobra, and it rears up in the air ready to strike. The dwarf tells you that he wishes to test your reactions. You must grasp the cobra barehanded below its head, avoiding its deadly fangs. You crouch down on the floor, tensing yourself for the moment at which to seize it. This will be a tough test of your skill.
Yep. Snake eyes!
Lightning
Haha!
speed, you thrust your hand out and grip the cobra just below its open mouth. You lift it up and with your arm outstretched, you dangle it in front of the dwarf. He doesn't flinch, but says in his calm, expressionless way,
Please put the cobra back in the basket and prepare for the final part of the test. Follow me.
You do what he says and follow him back into the chamber, where Throm is pacing up and down, obviously ill at ease. You wave to him while the dwarf opens a second secret door and tells you to walk on through and wait for him. Again you comply, and you find yourself in another circular room, although this one resembles a small arena. The floor is covered with sand, and a small balcony runs around the arena wall. Opposite the secret entrance you came in through is an ominous-looking wooden door. Suddenly you hear a shout, and you look up to see the smiling dwarf standing on the balcony. He throws 2 pieces of paper down to you. On one of them, the words, "No crop is," are written. On the other, "Ruin moat." In his ever-calm voice, he says,
If you rearrange the letters of the words, you will find the names of 2 creatures. You may choose which one to fight in my arena of death.
Can you identify the creature by rearranging the letters?
Minotaur and Scorpion. Minotaur and Scorpion. If it's a small scorpion, sure. But the Minotaur's Minotaur. I'll do the scorpion.
You call out to the dwarf, telling him to send in the scorpion because you are ready to fight. Slowly, the wooden door rises and a huge, grotesque black scorpion squeezes underneath it and enters the room. You draw your sword in readiness and prepare to fight the sinister creature with its huge pincers and deadly sting. The scorpion will attack you with both pincers, and you must treat each pincer as a separate creature, as though you were fighting two creatures.
Right.
Each pincer has its own skill level and will attack you separately in each attack round. You can only fight one pincer in each attack round, attacking it as in a normal battle. But against the other pincer, you must still attack in the normal way. But you will not wound it, even if your attack strength is greater. You must count this as though you have just fended off its blow. Of course, if its attack strength is greater than yours, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
Uh-oh.
The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid the sharp points.
No.
You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall.
Yes.
The scorpion takes a run at you. Its speed is impressive, but you jump aside, landing a heavy blow on its back.
Yep.
The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way. The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid the sharp points. The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way. The swinging, venomous tail is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm. You manage to get around the back of your enemy, but it quickly kicks backward, catching you agonizingly in the stomach.
The scorpion kicks backward. What?
You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall. The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid the sharp points. The scorpion swings its huge venomous tail above its head. You step aside as it smashes into the floor, and you land an attack from the side. The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way. Your speed is improving. You run directly at the scorpion and slice at its pincer as you run by. The swinging, venomous tail is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm. You manage to get around the back of your enemy, but it quickly kicks backward, catching you agonizingly in the stomach. The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid the sharp points. You try to
This
run
isn't
around
going
the
good.
side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
The swinging, venomous tail is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm.
No, I can't get
You
it.
manage to get around the back of your enemy.
I'm gonna
but
die
it
here, I
quickly
think.
kicks backward, catching you agonizingly in the stomach. The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way. You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points. You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid the sharp points. The swinging, venomous tail is a formidable
This sucks.
weapon.
I'm gonna lose this power.
You shriek as it sinks into your arm. The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way. You manage to get around the back of your enemy, but it quickly kicks backward, catching you agonizingly in the stomach. The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid the sharp points. You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall. The swinging, venomous tail is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
The scorpion takes a run at you. Its speed is impressive, but you jump aside, landing a heavy blow on its back. The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, I did
The
it.
scorpion swings its huge venomous tail above its head. You step aside as it smashes into the floor, and you land an attack from the side. You manage to get around the back of your enemy, but it quickly kicks backward.
Oh my god, if it hits me 2 more times, I'm dead.
in the stomach.
But I have to hit it 5 more times. No.
You try to run around the side of the creature, but it grabs your arm,
1 more time, I'm dead.
throwing you hard into the wall.
No, I rolled low again.
The swinging, venomous
Okay.
tail is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm.
The scorpion manages to hold you in its pincers, long enough to flick its segmented tail forward over its head and sting you with its venomous barb. The effect is fatal, and you slump to the ground in the arena of death, wondering whether Throm will win through. With lightning speed, You thrust your hand out and grip the cobra just below its open mouth. You call out to the dwarf that you are ready to fight the Minotaur. The wooden door rises slowly, and you see the fearsome beast, half man, half bull, step into the arena. Steam blows from its nostrils as it works itself up into a rage, ready to attack. Suddenly it rushes forward, swinging its double-headed axe.
Rep.
You manage to get around the back of your enemy, but it quickly kicks backward, catching you agonizingly in the stomach. Your speed is improving. You run directly at the Minotaur and slice at its leg as you run by. You try to run around the Minotaur, but it grabs your arm, throwing you hard into the wall. The swinging double-headed axe is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm. The Minotaur leans forward and takes a run at you. Speed is impressive, but you duck and roll aside, landing a heavy blow on its shin. The Minotaur swings its huge axe above its head. You step aside as it smashes into the floor. You're able to land an attack from the side. Your speed is improving. You run directly at the Minotaur and slice at its leg as you run by. The Minotaur leans forward and takes a run at you. Speed is impressive, but you duck and roll aside, landing a heavy blow on its shin.
The dwarf calls down from the balcony, congratulating you on your victory. He throws the sack down into the arena and tells you to relax and regain your strength for the final part of the test. Then he walks off, saying he will return in about 10 minutes. You open the sack and find a jug of wine and a cooked chicken. The food and drink are excellent, and you feel much better, gaining 2 more stamina points. Fully satisfied, you sit down and await the dwarf's return. After about 20 minutes, the dwarf reappears on the balcony. He calls down to you, saying,
Well, I do have an interesting problem on my hands. Prepare to fight your next opponent.
The wooden door rises once again, and you are surprised to see a familiar face. It is Throm. He is cuffed and badly bruised and doesn't seem to recognize you. He is clearly delirious as he staggers forward with his axe, raised to attack you. The dwarf laughs and says,
The cobra bit him, but he has the strength of an ox and managed to carry on, even though most men would have died. Now you must fight him to decide finally which of you will continue the trial of champions.
You shout abuse of the dwarf, protesting the cruelty of such a contest. He merely laughs, and you have no option but to defend yourself against poor Throm. Despite his wounds, he is immensely strong.
Whoops. Immensely. He's got the same as me.
You hurl yourself at Throm, fists flaming, and land a stunning blow on his chin. Throm grabs you by the throat and manages to half choke you before you get a chance to push him off. You parry Throm's attack, but he is too strong, and you trip, cracking your head on the floor as you fall. Throm swings low, crashing into your ankles and knocking you off balance. You drop to the ground, sweeping away Throm's legs. You hate it as he howls as his head hits the hard ground. You grab Throm around the neck, but he is strong and pushes you off. Neither of you are harmed. Throm is tall, and you duck, grab him, and ram his head hard into the wall. Throm swings at your head. Thankfully, you duck just in time. Throm grabs you by the throat and manages to half choke you before you get a chance to push him off. You hurl yourself at Throm, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow on his chin. You parry Throm's attack, but he is too strong, and you trip, cracking your head on the floor as you fall.
Someone is going to have brain damage at the end of this.
You grab Throm around the neck, but he is strong and pushes you off. Neither of you are harmed. Throm swings low, crashing into your ankles and knocking you off balance.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
Throm grabs you by the throat and manages to half choke you before you get a chance to push him off.
Oh, flying dice.
You drop to the ground, sweeping away Throm's legs. You hate it as he howls as his head hits the hard ground.
Oh.
Throm is tall, and you duck, grab him, and ram his head hard into the wall.
Exhausted by your long duel, you fall to your knees as you stare at Throm's still body. A bitter fills your heart. Somehow, you will avenge Throm. Engulfed in your hatred, you do not notice the dwarf enter the arena until he is standing right in front of you, a loaded crossbow aimed at your chest.
I know what you are thinking,
He says calmly.
but remember that only I know the way out of here. Get up. It's time for you to leave.
Once on your feet, the dwarf indicates that you should walk ahead of him. Back in the chamber, he crosses over to the northern wall and pushes against one of its stones. A door-like section of the wall swings out, opening into another crystal-lit tunnel. With his crossbow still aimed at your chest, the dwarf smiles, saying,
Good luck.
Swing a punch at the dwarf. No, he's got a crossbow.
The tunnel soon divides into two. You hear a buzzing sound coming from the western branch. The tunnel leads into a dark chamber, covered in thick cobwebs. Clawing your way through them, you trip over a wooden casket. The casket opens easily, and inside there is a black velvet bag containing a large pearl, gaining you 1 luck point. After putting the pearl in your pocket, you press on through the cobwebs. You reach the far wall of the chamber and see 2 doors. As you touch the door handle, it goes soft in your hand, and when you try to pull it away, you find your hand is now glued to the handle. A giant fist then forms in the center of the door panel and shoots forward, punching you in the stomach,
That's
costing
great.
you 1 stamina point. The fist retracts and prepares to strike again. With your free hand, you draw your sword and try to cut the handle off the door. Although you do not recognize it, you are being attacked by the fluid form
Mimic?
of an imitator.
A mimic. Two sixes,
You
really?
continue, trying to cut the handle, but the fist keeps punching, sapping your valuable stamina. The imitator is extremely fast. Before you see it happen, it pokes you hard in the eye. Thankfully, it doesn't blind you, but the pain is searing. The hand grabs the blade of your sword, but you are stronger than it expected, and pull the blade free, slicing its fingers.
That's great.
You manage to grab a finger of the flying fist and twist it back until you hear a sickening crunch.
Wow.
You pull harder and harder to try to get free. In your increasing panic, the fist catches you on the chin with a powerful uppercut. You see stars for a few seconds. The fist curls, ready for another punch to your head. You're quicker than it and manage to move clear. You flip your sword around in a circle to catch the wrist of the protruding hand, but it senses the blade and withdraws into the door. It's a tight space, but you swing your sword and take a good chunk out of the protruding arm. The hand grabs the blade of your sword, but you are stronger than it expected, and pull the blade free, slicing its fingers. You continue, trying to cut the handle, but the fist keeps punching, sapping your valuable stamina. You manage to grab a finger of the flying fist and twist it back until you hear a sickening crunch.
Your sword severs the handle completely, and now separated from its parent body, it shrivels away and drops onto the floor. Having no other choice, you somewhat apprehensively turn the handle of the other door. The door opens into another tunnel running north. Ahead you see 2 stone fountains, one on either side of the tunnel, carved in the shape of cherubs. Water spouts from their mouths and cascades into small bowls at their feet. The cool water is refreshing, but it comes from a source which has been cursed by a hag, adding 1 stamina point, but costing you 2 luck points. The cool water is refreshing and comes from a source which has been sprinkled with pixie dust, gaining you 1 stamina point and 2 skill points. You continue north. Leaning against the left-hand wall of the tunnel, you see a pair of bamboo stilts. They are securely chained, and you see a label attached to a padlock, which reads, "The price of these stilts is 1 gold piece. Place the coin in the slot to release the lock." There is a slot in the padlock into which you place the coin. Immediately the lock clicks apart, and you are able to unchain the stilts. You place them on your shoulder and once again set off north. A little farther on, you come to a section of the tunnel which is covered with thick green slime. It looks threatening, so you decide to test it first with a piece of cloth. The slime's corrosive jelly burns the cloth instantly, leaving no trace. You climb onto your stilts and take a few tentative steps across the floor. Your confidence grows, and you soon feel able to tackle the walk across the slime. Smoke rises from the base of the stilts as the slime starts to burn them away. You plod stolidly on and finally reach firm ground again. Unfortunately, the stilts are still covered in slime,
Alright.
and you are forced to dump them. Setting off north, you come to a junction. You walk no more than 3 meters west before you hit an invisible barrier. It starts fizzing and crackling, and you are thrown back. You have hit an energy stream, losing you 1 stamina point. There is no alternative but to walk back to the junction and head north.
If you need a
You
certain
soon
item to get
arrive
past that.
at a double door in the left-hand wall. You listen at the door but hear nothing. You try the handle, it turns, and you open the left door slightly and peer through the crack. An armed warrior is lying face down on the floor of a bare room with smooth walls and a low ceiling. He is presumably dead, for he makes no movement, even when you call out to him. A large jewel, perhaps a diamond, lies just beyond his outstretched arm.
Oh, what is that? And that. Okay, so he probably got killed because he took the jewel. I don't have that much health and I have no way of healing, but I need the jewels to finish the dungeon, I think. Be right back, I'm just going to toilet. I'm back. Go for the jewel. What's the worst that could happen? Well, I could die. At least I can backtrack. Okay. Enter the room, take the jewel.
You finally reach the warrior's body. But as soon as you touch the jewel, both it and the warrior vanish into thin
Wait,
air.
what?
You hear the door slam behind you.
You should
followed
trust
by a
more.
sudden, ominous rumbling above you. You look up and see the ceiling start to lower.
Oh, hell
You
no.
run to the door to try to escape, but it is locked.
What's the worst
There
that
is
could
no handle on
happen?
the inside. The ceiling gradually drops.
Oh
Until
no!
you are forced
I'm
to lie on
dead!
the ground, trying to halt the ceiling's progress with your hands and feet.
Oh no.
But it is a hopeless task, and you are crushed to death in the stone ice. If only you'd found a potion that allowed you to detect traps like this.
So, hi there! yeah, that's what I thought. I was gonna do that anyway, but... Damn!
You soon arrive at a double door in the left-hand wall. You listen at the door but hear nothing. You try the handle, it turns, and you open the left door slightly. The tunnel continues north for quite a distance before coming to a dead end. The mouth of a chute protrudes from the western wall, and it appears to be the only alternative to turning back. You decide to risk it and climb into the chute. You slide gently down and emerge into a room, landing on your back.
At least I'm
As
not
soon as
dead.
you stand up, you are confronted by the most repulsive sight you have ever laid eyes on.
It's a mirror!
There in front of you, wallowing in a circular pool of fetid slime, is a bulbous
Oh my
creature
God.
too horrible to be believed. Its body is green and covered all over with fearsome-looking spikes. Its face is a mass of crimson blisters, one of which suddenly bursts to reveal yet another of its many sinister, all-seeing eyes.
That's a blood
A
thingy.
narrow path runs around the edge of the pool and leads into another tunnel in the far wall. Remembering the description of the vile blood beast and the warning about the toxic gas rising from its pool, you cover your mouth with your sleeve and step forward with your sword drawn, wary of the blood beast's tongue. As you step around the side of the pool, it rolls forward and sticks out its tongue. You are ready for it, and cleave it with one swipe of your sword.
Oh, hell yeah.
The beast howls in pain and stretches forward, frantically, trying to clasp you between its blood-filled jaws. You start hacking at its hideous face in an attempt to pierce its real eyes.
Oh god, it's got 12? Jesus. Come on, get some Oh, they have 6.
The
Oh,
blood
wait.
beast's tail whips
No.
around you. You duck, but not quickly enough, and it punctures your arm deeply.
Jeez, I hope I can do this. Oh my god, 2 twos?
Breathing
What?
heavily during your fight,
You ones
you
even?
begin to succumb to the toxic gas and fall, cracking your head on the floor.
Jeez.
The creature
Jeez.
reaches for you with its mouth in the pool. You step back to avoid it, but slip on its fetid slime. It sinks its teeth into your ankle, costing you precious stamina.
Die in 1 hit.
The blood beast's tail.
Ah,
whips around
died.
you. You duck, but
Ah,
not
that
quickly enough,
sucks.
and it punctures your arm deeply.
Although the blood beast is too bulbous and heavy to climb out of its pool, its long tongue stretches and wraps itself around your leg. Still unconscious, you are dragged into its pool of slime. After being pre-digested by the vile slime, The hideous blood beast will consume you at its leisure.
Hey. Let's try that again.
Although you soon arrive, the tunnel, as soon as you stand,
You swipe your sword, attacking the creature, but hit the edge of the pool with a clang. Breathing heavily during your fight, you begin to succumb to the toxic gas and fall, cracking your head on the floor.
Oh yes, I hit it.
Again, the bulbous creature strikes for you with its hideous fangs. You jump clear of them, striking out and smashing one clean out of its hideous mouth. The creature reaches for you with its mouth in the pool. You step back to avoid it, but slip on its fetid slime. It sinks its teeth into your ankle, costing you precious stamina. The blood beast's tail whips around you. You duck, but not quickly enough, and it punctures your arm deeply.
Oh come on, 2 6s.
Breathing heavily
What?
during your fight, you begin to succumb to the toxic gas and fall, cracking your head on the floor.
although the blood beast is too large and heavy to climb out of its pool, its long tongue stretches and wraps itself around your leg. Still unconscious, you are dragged into its pool of slime.
I might have to go back to a
After
previous
being
point.
digested by the vile slime, the hideous blood beast will consume you at its leisure.
Well, I can keep trying against it. There hasn't been a turn in a while. I guess I'll just keep going against it till I can kill it.
You soon arrive. The tunnel, as soon as you stand up,
The creature reaches for you with its mouth in the pool. You step back to avoid it, but slip on its fetid slime. It sinks its teeth into your ankle, costing you precious stamina. The creature launches its head out of the pool in front of you and reaches for you with its mouth. You plunge your sword into one of its many eyes. It shrieks and backs away.
You try your luck, and your luck is in.
Terrible.
The blood beast's tail whips around you. You duck, but not quickly enough, and it punctures your arm deeply. Breathing heavily during your fight, you begin to succumb to the toxic gas and fall, cracking your head on the floor. The creature reaches for you with its mouth.
Damn!
You try to avoid it, but slip on its fetid slime. It sinks its teeth into your ankle, costing you precious stamina.
although the blood beast is too bulbous and heavy to climb out of its pool, its long tongue stretches and wraps itself around your leg. Still unconscious, you are dragged into its pool of slime. After being pre-digested by the vile slime, the hideous blood beast will consume you
At
at
your
its
leisure.
leisure.
So yeah, so either I keep attacking it, because I can't go that way because there's a magical barrier, then there. I think I went that way. I tried to take left each time I could. I could try going that way instead.
There is an open pipe in the right-hand wall, about a meter in diameter. It is too dark to see far down it. You shout into it and hear your voice echoing down the iron pipe until eventually the sound...
Oh, I've been this way.
The pipe is wet and slimy, but you crawl on into the dank darkness, slithering and sliding as you go. Suddenly your hand touches something hard and square, which feels as if it is made of wood.
There's a box with some treasure in it. Let's go further down the pipe.
In the total darkness, you do not see the pipe's downward turn. You slip and, unable to get a grip on the slimy pipe, slide over the edge. Your screams echo down the pipe.
Oh, I've died.
The
Damn
50 meters, head first to the bottom. You have failed the trial of champions.
Well, now I know what's down there. Let's do this and go north again, and then turn right.
In the total darkness, there is a...
Oh. Then, north.
The-
Then go east.
The eastern tunnel soon comes to a dead end. A piece of paper, brown and cold with age, is pinned to the end wall. The paper bears a simple warning, written in dried blood. Beware the trial masters. You replace the paper on its nail and run back down the tunnel to rejoin the barbarian. Running down the tunnel, you soon catch up with the barbarian and tell him that the eastern passage comes to a dead end. He nods his head in silent understanding and sets off towards the west with you at his side. Although you are slightly uneasy,
That just replays what I did up here. What's this bit?
in each other's company, knowing the tunnel soon divides into two. You hear a buzzing sound coming.
Oh, I
from the
remember this.
western branch.
So we go towards the noise this time.
There is a large panel of glass in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. Through it, you can see a bright, torch-lit room teeming with giant insects of every possible description. Bees, wasps, beetles, ticks. Even the mites are over 6 centimeters long. The noise is threatening. In the middle of the room, a jeweled crown lies on top of a small table. What looks like a large diamond is set in the middle of the crown. You smash the glass with the hilt of your sword, making a hole big enough to climb through. Immediately, the giant insects start swarming and jumping towards you. Wasting no time, you clamber into the room, grabbing one of the lit torches to defend yourself. The fire keeps most of the insects at bay, but by the time you have snatched the crown and climbed back into the corridor, some of them have stung you. We'll roll 1 die and add 2 to the total to decide how many stings you have suffered, reducing your stamina by 1 for each sting.
What? Oh, I did a 1, yes!
The giant insects do not
I have
chase you,
1 health, Jesus.
preferring the bright light of the room they are in. You examine the crown and see with disgust that it is merely painted iron, and the diamond is just glass and totally worthless. You throw it on the ground in a rage and wonder which way to go next.
I think my stamina glitched out then. I ate 3 things. I should have got 12 health, but it only gave me 4. That was gay. I'm gonna see if I can go back so I can unglitch that.
The tunnel. You smack.
Nice, and I'm dead.
You have run out of stamina.
Ah!
You collapse on the spot and rattle out.
I can never win.
Your adventure ends. Alas, the tunnel.
Okay, first let's eat the stuff. And then take the crown.
You smash the.
1 again. Okay, there we
The
go.
giant insects do not chase you, preferring the bright light of the room they are in. You examine the crown and see with disgust
Oh, great.
that it is merely painted iron,
Really?
and the diamond is just glass and totally
Really?
worthless.
Really?
You throw it on the ground in a rage and wonder which way to go next.
Wow. All of that for nothing. Let's go west.
Ahead, in the far distance, you hear the sound of slow footsteps coming towards you. Unsure of who or what might be approaching, you look around for a place to hide. You see a large crack in the tunnel wall which lies in shadow. You have to squeeze yourself deep into the crack to conceal yourself completely. From this cramped position, you are unable to see the owner of the feet that shuffle slowly by. A minute later, all is quiet again as you pull yourself back out into the tunnel and head west. After a short while, you arrive at another junction in the tunnel with a choice of 2 directions. Set back in the arched alcove in the tunnel wall, you see an ornate wooden chair carved in the shape of a demon-like bird of prey.
You feeling lucky, punk? Let's sit in the chair.
You grip the arms of the chair tightly, half expecting a surge of energy or pain to rush through your body. Do you think luck is on your side?
Yes, it
Squeezing
is.
the arm of the chair triggers a secret panel which springs into the air. You find a glass vial lying in a cavity. You pick it up and read the label. Doppelganger potion, 1 dose only. This liquid will make your body take on the shape of a nearby being. You place the strange potion in your backpack and continue north, where the tunnel starts to slope downwards and finally comes to an end at a deep pool enclosed by the tunnel wall. There is nothing else to do but continue north up the tunnel, which starts to slope downwards and finally comes to an end at a deep pool enclosed by the tunnel wall. The words of the spirit girl's poem flash through your mind. When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. course, it is here that she wants you to dive into the water. Now, you must decide what to do. Somewhat nervously, you take a deep breath and dive into the dark pool. The northern wall does not project very far beneath the surface of the water, and you decide to take the risk to swim under it. Soon, you start gasping for air and are forced to swim upwards. Trying not to think that you could be trapped in an old submerged tunnel, you are relieved when you surface into cool air. You are on the other side of the wall and can see the tunnel rising out of the water and continuing north into the distance. You wade out of the water and check if you've been lucky with the contents of your wet backpack. Two portions of your provisions are saturated and are now inedible.
I had none anyway, so that's fine.
Your other possessions remain intact. You repack them carefully inside your backpack and set off north again. A little way along on the left of the tunnel wall, you reach the entrance of a large cavern from which you hear a girl's voice crying for help. You can just make out the shape of a human figure rolling about on the floor at the back of the cavern.
Enter the cavern and investigate.
As you approach the prostrate figure, you see she is an elf, one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions, and she is fighting for her life in the bone-crushing grip of an enormous boa constrictor.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I have a bit of health, so let's fight.
With one swipe of your trusty blade, you behead the boa constrictor.
Oh, okay.
You uncoil its massive body from around the elf and try to resuscitate her. Her eyes open a little, but you can see that there is no hope. She looks at you and smiles, and then says in a whisper, "Thank you. I know it's too late for me, but I will tell you what I've learned. Your way out lies ahead, but you need gems to unlock the final door. One of them is a diamond, but I do not know what the others are. Alas, I have not found a diamond, but would urge you to look for one. Good luck." Her eyes close, and she slumps down onto the cold floor. You watch sadly as she breathes her last. Knowing she would not mind, you take two of her daggers and search her leather backpack. Inside, you find some unleavened bread, a mirror, and a bone charm in the shape of a monkey. The bread contains secret elven healing herbs,
Oh, hell yeah.
which increase your stamina by 3 points.
Oh, hell yeah.
Feeling sad, yet strong, you pack away the mirror and the charm and leave the cavern to head north.
Is that a good ring?
Walking along the tunnel, you notice an iron grill in the floor. Lying in a hole about a meter deep, you see a grappling iron in a leather pouch. You reach down into the hole and suddenly your blood runs cold as you feel something warm and sticky wrapping itself around your arm. You manage to pull your arm out of the hole, but a hideous tentacled limb with unbelievably strong suckers is clinging to you. By the time you manage to cut yourself free, your arm is trembling with pain, and you wonder whether luck is on your side.
Yes, luck is on my side. Come on, under 9. 9, yes!
Having had the sense not to put your sword arm into the hole, the effects of the tentacled arm are not too serious, meaning you only lose 1 skill point. You reach back into the hole and pull out the grappling iron in the leather pouch. Inside the pouch, you find a tiny brass bell. You pack away your new possessions and continue north. A door comes into view in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. You listen carefully at it and hear nothing. The door is not locked, and the handle turns easily. The door opens into a small dark room, which is empty apart from a sturdy wooden chest lying on a shelf in the far wall. The floor is thick with dust, and you can clearly see fresh footprints leading from the door to the chest and back again. You wonder whether one of your rivals is still ahead of you on the wall, or whether the chest has only recently been placed on the shelf by one of the trial masters.
Well, I like treasure, and I have 15 treasures so far. That looks like a finger, being held by a finger.
Although you check the chest carefully for any hidden devices, you are unable to see the trap inside it. As you lift the lid, an iron ball hanging on a cord swings back, shattering the glass capsule fixed inside the lid.
Oh no.
A cloud of poisonous gas is instantly released into the air, and you stagger back, coughing and spluttering, losing 4 stamina points.
4!
Once the gas is cleared, you walk back to the chest and look inside. There is a
At least it's
pendant
not a
chain
mimic.
lying in the bottom of it, but somebody has already removed the stone from its setting.
Seriously.
This annoys you so much that you throw the chain onto the floor and storm out of the room and up the tunnel. The tunnel starts to widen, and ahead you see it's opened into a huge cavern from where you can hear the sound of many high-pitched voices. You creep up to the entrance and take a look inside. There are about 20 tiny people with long noses and ears running in a circle around a large golden effigy.
Drink a doppelganger potion. Well, it's an option, so let's go for it.
You pour the contents of the glass vial into your mouth and swallow the clear liquid. Although you do not feel any immediate change, you hope that the potion will create the illusion that you are a troglodyte, just like the ones in front of you. Taking a deep breath, you step boldly into the cavern. The troglodytes continue their tribal dance, believing you to be one of them. You walk past them casually and head north. Unfortunately, the effects of the potion are short-lived.
Oh no.
Suddenly, you hear a shriek behind you as one of the troglodytes spots you, and you are forced to run across the cavern floor. Ahead, you see an underground river running east to west through the cavern, and a wooden bridge crossing over it.
Well, the bridge is guaranteed to break. Let's go over the bridge.
After crossing the bridge, you run across the cavern floor. At last, you see a tunnel in the far wall, which you race down until you reach its end with a heavy wooden door. The door is locked.
Of course it
The
is.
key
But I have a key.
turns in the lock, and the door opens into a 4-way intersection of the tunnel. There is nothing to be seen, either to the east or to the west, apart from the narrow, familiar ceiling crystals giving off their dim light. And suddenly you hear a voice calling you. This way, this way. You are on the right track. It seems to be coming from somewhere directly ahead of you. Your curiosity gets the better of you, and you decide to walk towards the beckoning voice. The tunnel bends sharply to the right, and around the corner you see a little old man with a long beard, cowering behind a large wicker basket. The basket is tied to a rope, the other end of which disappears into the ceiling. The old man sounds very worried as he says, "Do not attack me, stranger. I pose no threat to you. I am simply here to help you. If you will be so kind as to offer me some sort of remuneration, I will gladly haul you up in the basket to the upper level. And believe me, that is where you ought to be." After paying off the old man, you climb into the wicker basket and watch as he tilts his head back and shouts, "Pull it up, Ivy!" The rope goes taut, and the basket rises jerkily off the ground. As you are hauled higher and higher, the old man calls out to you, saying, "You'll like Ivy. She's a nice girl. We call her Poison Ivy." He starts to laugh uncontrollably, and you wonder, somewhat apprehensively, just who is hauling you up. The basket goes through the ceiling, and you find yourself in a small chamber, face to face with an ugly old female troll. Her face is hairy and covered with warts. With a huge hand, she reaches forward and hauls you out of the basket, which she lets fall to the floor below. She grabs you round the throat and says in a husky voice, "I want pain, too."
Attack her with your sword, question mark?
Without even pausing to thank you, Ivy pushes you out of her chamber, through a door in the east wall. You find yourself standing at the end of a tunnel, with a flight of stone steps leading downwards. From the floor below, you can hear the sound of barking dogs. There is nowhere to go except down the steps towards the sound. It's a shame you don't have a bone to throw down and distract them with. You reach the bottom and, with your sword drawn, face the two huge black guard dogs, which leap at you, one at a time. You may escape after killing the first guard dog.
The dog snaps at you with his vicious teeth, You parry too late and it sinks them deep into your arm. The dog jumps at you, knocking you flat to the floor. You kick the creature away, but only after it tore a chunk from your leg. Coming at you snarling, you're able to swipe your sword hard, removing part of the dog's tail. You're able to grab the rear leg of the dog and flip it over, smashing its head into the ground. The dog snaps at you with its vicious teeth, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck.
You try your luck. Your luck is in.
The tunnel veers sharply to the left and comes to an end at a high wall in which there is a door. You hear a ferocious roar from the other side of the wall, and you wonder what gargantuan beast could make such a noise. You tie the rope to the grappling iron and hurl it over the top of the wall. Its hooks dig into the stone, and you begin to haul yourself up. Peering over the top of the wall, you see an enormous dinosaur-like monster thrashing about in a sand-covered pit. Its tough hide is a mottled green color, and it stands some 10 meters tall on its muscular hind legs. Rows of razor-sharp teeth line its gigantic jaws, which open and close with bone-snapping power. There is a large double door in the wall on the far side of the pit, which appears to be the only way out of this section of the dungeon.
What? Try to hook the pit fiend with the grappling iron while sitting on top of the wall, or throw your monkey bone charm into the pit. Or fight the T-Rex. The
pit fiend's jaws snap at the monkey charm and pluck it out of the air. Suddenly its jaws spring open again, forced apart by the charm, which has expanded to fill its mouth. While the pit fiend thrashes around in the pit, trying to get rid of the charm, you lower yourself down into the pit to reach the double doors. In its mad rage, the pit fiend tries to crush you against the side of the wall with its massive body. Let's see if luck is on your side here.
Oh yeah.
As the pit fiend slams its body against the wall, you let go of the rope and drop safely to the floor. You run towards the double doors and are relieved to feel them swing open as you push on them. You let them swing shut behind you and head north along the tunnel. Walking along, you see a red line painted across the tunnel floor and notice a sign on the wall which reads, "No weapons beyond this point."
I've got 4 weapons.
Without your weapons, you are more vulnerable, and the loss of your sword leaves you feeling almost naked and costing you 4 skill points.
Oh.
Wondering whether you have made the right decision, you follow the tunnel north. The tunnel leads into a marble-floored hall with pillars rising right up to the ceiling. As you cross the floor, Your footsteps echo through the hall. The hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle, and you soon sense unseen eyes watching you. Unknown to you, one of your rivals is hiding behind a pillar. It is the ninja, a deadly assassin dressed in black robes. Without a sound, he steps out from behind the pillar and throws a star-edged disc at your back. Instinctively, an inner voice tells you to duck. But how's your luck?
Oh yeah.
The razor-sharp disc whistles past your head and bites deep into one of the pillars. Turning to face your would-be assassin, you prepare yourself as he advances, his long sword drawn.
Well, I'm dead.
The ninja leaps at you, his sword screeching towards your head. You parry, but his sword bites deep into your arm. You find a used throwing disc and hurl it as the ninja unleashes another. He cackles with laughter as his thuds into your leg. The ninja is fast, whipping past you and landing a powerful blow in your back.
A razor-sharp disc thuds into your chest, knocking you off balance. As you land on your back, you feel the ninja's sword against your throat. Your adventure ends here. A razor-sharp disc. The tunnel veers sharply to the left and comes to an end at a high wall in which there is a door.
Oh, I've done that.
Hear a ferocious roar from the other side of walking. The tunnel leads into a marble-floored hall with pillars rising right up to the ceiling. As you cross the floor, your footsteps echo through the hall. The hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle, and you soon sense unseen eyes watching you. Unknown to you, one of your rivals is hiding behind a pillar. It is the ninja, a deadly assassin dressed in black robes. Without a sound, he steps out from behind the pillar and throws a star-edged disc at your back. Instinctively, an inner voice tells you to duck. But how's your luck? The razor-sharp disc
That's close.
whistles past your head and bites deep into one of the pillars. Turning to face your would-be assassin, you prepare yourself as he advances, his long sword drawn.
The ninja leaps at you, his sword screeching towards your head. You parry, but his sword bites deep into your arm. You find a rock lying in the corner and throw it hard toward a pillar where the ninja is hiding. As he looks around it, the rock hits him agonizingly in the face.
Apparently when I attack, I don't use a weapon. I just throw rocks.
You find a used throwing disc and hurl it.
And
the
his own
ninja
weapons.
Unleashes another. He cackles with laughter as his thuds into your leg. The ninja is fast, whipping past you and landing a powerful blow in your back.
A razor-sharp disc thuds into your chest, knocking you off balance. As you land on your back, you feel the ninja's sword against your throat. Your adventure ends here.
Okay, try it one more time.
A razor-sharp disc thuds, walking along. The tunnel leads into a marble-floored hall with pillars rising right up to the ceiling. As you cross the floor, your footsteps echo through the hall. The hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle, and you soon sense unseen eyes watching you. Unknown to you, one of your rivals is hiding behind a pillar. It is the ninja, a deadly assassin dressed in black robes. Without a sound, he steps out from behind the pillar and throws a star-edged disc at your back. Instinctively, an inner voice tells you to duck. But how's your luck?
Good.
The razor-sharp disc whistles past your head and bites deep into one of the pillars. Turning to face your would-be assassin, you prepare yourself as he advances, his long sword drawn.
The ninja looses another throwing weapon at you. It whistles millimeters from your ear.
Oh, I
and
didn't
pings
drink my
off the
potion.
wall behind you. The ninja leaps at you, his sword screeching towards your head. You parry, but his sword bites deep into your arm. You find a used throwing disc and hurl it as he unleashes another.
Oh wow, I beat him.
The ninja howls in pain as yours lands home.
You try your luck. Your luck.
Probably gonna end up using all my luck, unfortunately, to try and beat this guy. Oh, double sixes. Hell yeah.
The ninja leaps at you, his sword screeching towards your head. But you parry and are able to kick the fighter directly in the stomach.
No, in the balls. Come on. Hey, shit.
You try your luck, but no good this time.
Oh, I thought that hurts me. Oh, that's good.
You
Damn.
find a used throwing disc and hurl it as the ninja unleashes another. He cackles with laughter as his thuds into your leg. You find a used throwing disc and hurl it as the ninja unleashes another. You both miss. You find a rock lying in the corner and throw it hard toward a pillar.
Come on,
the ninja
Luck.
is hiding.
Come on, luck.
As he looks around it, the rock hits him agonizingly in the face.
Come on, luck. No!
You try your luck, but no good this time.
No, I'm dead.
The ninja is fast, whipping past you and landing a powerful blow in your back.
A razor-sharp disc thuds into your chest, knocking you off balance. As you land on your back, you feel the ninja's sword against your throat. Your adventure ends here.
Alright, that's as far as I'm going to go today. I've been playing for 3 hours and 41 minutes. That's insane. I don't know where the hell my day's gone. It's now 5:23 PM. I swear I've just been playing this game. Right, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the chat, Jake and Whiskey. And I'll be streaming again tomorrow. Probably this game again because it's fun. I'll probably start a new character so I can get my attack higher. Maybe. Because I can't beat these fights. And I'll take a healing potion rather than a skill potion because I've never had to use it really. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully you haven't fallen asleep again, Jake. Alright, see you guys. Boom.